Facebook always has a little bit of a delay as well. So it sometimes doesn't tell us we're live. So I'm going to just pop it up on my phone here as well. And we'll see what happens. There we go. Apparently we're live. We shall see. We shall see. I'm just going to give my Facebook feed a little moment to catch up and to get with the program. So, believe we are here. So we are here. We are here. So welcome in, everybody. Thank you to those of you who are here on Facebook with me and who are on Zoom. So we've got a few folks on the Zoom call with me, and I know that those of you who are watching on Facebook won't necessarily be able to see the people who are here on Zoom with me. So we've got a couple of folks in the background. If you registered for this event, you will have received a Zoom link and you will be able to join us through the Zoom call. But just while I wait for everybody to settle in, I'm just going to make sure and get my, I'm going to pop the live on my phone here so that I can see any comments. And if you are watching, if you're joining us live on Facebook, then please just drop me a little comment and let me know that you're here. Give me a hello. And if you're watching the replay, so for our replay viewers, please make sure that you let me know that you've caught this. So welcome in. Welcome to you lovely folks who are joining me here. Let me just let a few more people into the Zoom room. Make sure that you've got some water, make sure you're comfy, make sure that you are nicely settled in. I am just so pleased that you're all here. So happy Wednesday. It's lovely to have you here. So nice to see everybody on the Zoom call. So hi to Carrie, Emma, Joanne, Tony, Anne and Wendy. Lovely to have you here. We are currently live on Facebook, folks. I have it pinned so that only the Facebook people can only see me, but please do feel free to share in the chat here, and I will be sharing comments between Facebook and the Zoom call. So tonight is a very special night. It's all about reclaiming who we are. It's about remembering who we are. It's about stepping into being truly ourselves, because it's so I feel like this is a call to arms for us, because it's time that we really just stood up and remembered who we were. Life has got very noisy. It's got very busy. It's got very scary in some places. It's got very disempowering. And what better way to solve that than for us to take our own power back and for us to step into who we really are. So if you have been feeling disconnected, if you have been feeling lost, if you've been feeling a bit stuck, if you've been kind of just waiting for permission, and I know those of you who've registered and have been in the Telegram group have been sharing where you've been waiting for permission, and I was asking you today to tell me what life would be like if you didn't wait. If you weren't having to wait for permission anymore and you were able to be who you truly wanted to be, how would that change your life? So if you're watching on Facebook, please feel free to drop that information into the comments. As tonight goes on, I will be asking you to share some bits and pieces with me. You only need to share whatever you feel comfortable sharing. So if you're joining me on Facebook, you can share in the comments. And if you're a replay viewer, please do share in the comments when you catch this video so that I can answer you and I can come back to you. If you're here with me on Zoom, please use the chat box, okay? And please use the chat space to share whatever you want to share as we go along. So tonight isn't just a masterclass. We're going to do a little bit of teaching. We're going to do a little bit of tuning in, and we're going to do a little bit of activation work. Later on, as the night goes on, we will do an activation, a call to reclaim your energy, your power, and your full presence. So that's the plan. So this space is for you. Please settle in, get comfy. If you are I'll be keeping an eye on both spaces, so make sure that you comment and let me know that you're here if you're on Facebook. So by the time we're done tonight, you're not going to just only understand your sovereignty and your power and what this means and what it doesn't mean, but you will hopefully also feel it in your bones, okay? You will feel it in your bones. And this is an invitation for you to fully step into it, okay? So are we ready to go? Let me know. Give me a wee I'm ready in the chat if you're ready, and let's crack on and get started. So excited. It's going for you. Get some water. Awesome. Carrie is ready. Anne is ready. Wendy's ready. Good stuff. Good stuff. Emma's ready. Yay. We are ready. We are going to go. Susan is watching on Facebook. Hi, Susan. Good stuff. Good stuff. So, what is this sovereignty thing? What is this that we're talking about? Yeah, because I was having a chat with a client yesterday, and she said to me, and it was a very interesting conversation. She said, when I hear words like "take back your power," "step into your authority," she says it kind of triggers me a little bit, and I was like, okay, okay. Um, talk to me about that. And she was like, it's just because in life she was conditioned always to believe that if someone was powerful, it meant they had power over her. They had power and dominance over her. So when she hears words like step into your power and be, you know, take back your authority, and it was particularly the word authority kind of give her the ick. So you can let me know if this resonates, yeah. Um, and we were having a conversation about, well, isn't it interesting that when we use those words, we automatically assume that it must mean that we have to control, that we must, if we're going to take back power, then we must have to control other people and be dominant. And it's like, that's not actually what your own personal power is. That's not what sovereignty is about. And I think it's because we've been conditioned to believe, and we see it externally, that, you know, people in power tend to have power over other people, and people then sometimes become disempowered as a result. Yeah, Susan on Facebook says it resonates. It absolutely does. Yeah. So we've been taught that power comes from external control, from being able to manage circumstances, keeping everything in check, making sure nothing falls apart, constantly having, spinning all the plates and making sure that that's sorted, but also making sure that, nobody takes advantage, and we become this real, you know, we think we have to become this dominant force. But true sovereignty, true inner power has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that type of control. It's a deep, unshakable knowing, a deep confidence in yourself that you are the creator of your experience. Yeah. That it's the ability to hold your energy steady no matter what comes your way, no matter what chaotic life forces are coming your way, life events. Life's going to life, right? Doesn't matter, people sometimes think when they get there, they're like, okay, I'm going to go down the spiritual path. I'm going to be all to do all things. I'm going to be nice and calm and peaceful. And I'm going to be so zen all the time. And it's going to be wonderful. And then life's. Yeah. And it becomes a test. Are you really going to walk your talk? Are you really going to be in your power? Are you going to become a victim again? Are you going to let that be taken from you? So true sovereignty is about being able to hold your course. It's being able to hold your energy steady no matter what's going on around you. Yeah. Understanding that you don't have to force, you don't have to chase. Yeah. You don't have to cling. Because power doesn't come from grasping. It comes from being fully confident and standing in your presence. And in shamanic teachings, I'm a trained shamanic teacher as well. And in shamanic teachings, we talk about people, when we talk about power, we refer to that as their life force. And when people have lost their power, they've lost their life force, and they feel drained, they feel tired, they succumb to, medical conditions or illnesses or different things because they have had their life force drained. And it's again not about power over, it's about having power within. And shamanically, you would work with animal medicine. I know that Anne on our call here tonight, Anne works beautifully with animals and does energy healing with them. And, it's about working with that animal medicine and working with that life force to pull back that energy. So that's just one way we can do this. And we're going to chat a little bit tonight about how we can bring this power back. Because having your sovereignty doesn't mean bending everything to your will. It doesn't mean also having it all your own way. Okay. In fact, quite often it means being able to compromise. It means being able to collaborate. It means being able to confidently disagree with someone without arguing. It means reclaiming the authority that you already have over your energy, your choices, and your reality. Hey, Lisa on Facebook. It's nice to see you here. And no worries. Don't apologize. We've just got started. Um, and I think once you realize this, you stop trying to control things that were never yours to control in the first place, because ultimately, what can we control? We can only control ourselves. We can only control how we think. And we can't even control our thoughts. We can control what we choose to focus on. We can't necessarily control what comes in. Okay, that's a whole different conversation. But when we're learning to step into our sovereignty, what we're doing is we are focusing on the thing that was only ever ours, our energy, our frequency, and our power. And that's what we're going to do tonight. So we're going to step into our I am presence. That's okay, Ellie, no worries. We're going to step into our I am presence, the version of you that exists far beyond any fear, any conditioning, the truest, most powerful you, the God essence within you, source, creator, universe, whatever you'd like to call it. Okay. Your divinity. We're going to tap into that. We're going to clear away some of the old stuff. As tonight goes on, we're going to get rid of things, whether it's stuff from today, whether it's stuff from childhood, whether it's stuff from past life, whatever. Okay. We're going to clear it and we're going to pull back that energy. And then we're going to go out and we're going to take this world by force. Yeah, are we good? Does that sound like a plan? Let me know if that sounds like a plan. If you're watching on Facebook, drop me a 1. If you're in the Zoom room, drop me a yes. Love it. So, who is this I am presence? It's the version of you before the world told you who you should be. Yeah, before the world told you who you could be. Before you were shaped by expectation, before you were shaped by fear, self-doubt, yeah, before you dimmed yourself to fit into those spaces, into the places that couldn't quite hold your big energy, so you pulled it back. You didn't want to shine too brightly. Yeah, does that resonate with anybody about shining too bright, particularly if you were, you know, as a kid, maybe you were enthusiastic, were you told to be quiet, were you told to, you know, don't rock the boat, don't shine too brightly, don't show off. Yeah. You were already whole. You're already powerful. You're already free. That's your I am presence. Yeah. It's the observer. Talk about this in some of the programs that I work on in Catalyst in particular. We do a little bit of work on this where we step back into this I am presence to make clear decisions. Because when life is lifing and coming at you, it can be very difficult to make those very clear decisions that we need to make. And if we can step into that powerful I am presence, we step off the front line of our mind just that little bit. It gives us a little bit of space. It gives us a little bit of room to breathe. It gives us that moment to connect to our highest wisdom, our highest self. Yeah, to the part of us that never left source energy, to the part of us that's still connected to the infinite one mind, the God energy, the divinity, the universe, the source, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And it allows us to connect to that level of awareness. And from there, we realize that we are actually the observer. Now, this is not about disassociation. This is actually about empowered detachment, and there's a difference. Okay, because some people sometimes go, "Oh, is this not just disassociating from life?" And I'm like, "No, no, absolutely not. It's the complete opposite, because what we're doing is a we're taking a responsible and empowered breath. We are not reacting to the chaos that's coming our way, and we're taking a step back into our divinity, into our powerful, quiet presence, into our clarity. We are letting the emotion move through us. We're letting the event move through us so that we can then take an empowered view, and we can then make decisions from a very clear space. That is game changing. Because the moment you step into that I am presence, everything changes. You stop seeking external validation because you don't need it, because you already have it. You already have and are the validation that you need. So you stop looking outside of yourself for it. You stop waiting for permission. And I know I asked you in the Telegram chat to tell me what you were waiting for. And there were so many of you were waiting for different things. I'm just going to pop it up on the screen here so that I can see it. There were so many of you were saying, you know, Joanne, you were saying you were waiting on permission your whole life from your mum and your brother. And if you weren't doing that, you would be free to live your life. Denise was saying she was waiting for permission to step into her true identity in the way she lives her life, and that she doesn't have to fit in with what her family expect. And she's been waiting for permission from herself to do what lights her up and to walk her path. Emma, you had said you were waiting to give yourself permission to go all in, to be successful, to not fear success. Yeah. Trish was saying, waiting my entire life to belong, permission to be me. And Anne, you were saying you had been waiting for permission to just be yourself and to ditch the belief that you needed anyone else's validation. Give yourself permission to go for what you love. Alma had said, I've been waiting for my own permission to shine brighter and be seen by a bigger audience than before. Lots of other comments, lots of other things going on. These are really interesting because when I read these, on one level, it makes me really sad that people have waited for permission and that it's like life's passing you by while you wait for external validation and permission. What about we just take it back and we go, do you know what? I don't need to wait for permission because I already belong here. I already belong and I can do this and I am doing this. Yeah. You step into that I am presence, you step into that sense of belonging, you step into that sense of I am no longer giving my power away because I already hold it. I don't need to wait and give it to someone else. It's remembering who and what you've always been. So let's think about the ways we give it away so that we can stop doing it, right? Because, we're going to stop doing this. Let me know as I go through these. Leave me a comment in the chat if any of this is really resonating and if there's anything you want to comment about it. There's many, many more ways, but I'm going to talk about 5 ways that we give away our power, we give away our leaks. Susan has said on Facebook, I was dimmed by years of verbal abuse. And I am so sorry that happened because it's a common thing that people are told and talked over and not listened to and not heard. And it can make you close up. And particularly as women, I think as well, sometimes we have a witch wound. All humans, I think, can have that witch wound because there was plenty of male witches too. But I think that the witch wound, particularly as a woman, where women were not allowed to use their voice, where they were held back, where they were subjugated, where they were kept quiet, that has been perpetuated over the years. And I think as part of this work, I'm very keen advocate on letting people use their voice to be heard, to be seen, letting your beautiful voice come out, letting your self be seen, letting yourself stand, in your light and in your confidence. But here are some of the ways. Okay, first way, external validation and people pleasing. Yeah, this is a big one. I see you nodding, Emma. I see you nodding. We are conditioned from birth to seek validation. We learn very quickly, even as a baby, what our parents like and don't like. We are conditioned to expect and want love, and we will do whatever we need to do to get that. Yeah. And we're conditioned, therefore, to seek that validation, to please the people around us from the minute we come out the womb. From our parents, from our teachers, from our friends, our peers. And nowadays, with social media and the pressures of modern day society, even strangers on the internet seem to have an influence, and we're seeking validation from them. And we shapeshift. Humans are natural shapeshifters. We shapeshift in order to fit in. Yeah. Now, this is particularly, I notice this primarily in people who are empaths, people who feel everybody else's emotions, people who can sense we are all, as human beings, naturally able to sense and tune into each other's emotions and energies. Some people are very much more sensitive than others, just simply because they've honed that gift and they have worked. It's a muscle that you use. Some people find that, particularly if they are very sensitive to other people's feelings, they will shape shift massively in order to become what that other person in the room expects, so that they don't rock the boat, so they don't cause an upset, so they don't feel the energy. Yeah. I see you nodding, Emma. Does that resonate? That's something that's a thing. Lisa says on Facebook, yeah, that's such a biggie for me, seeking validation. Yeah. And it is a big one. We suppress parts of ourselves to avoid judgment. How many times do you do things and then worry what people are going to think? Yeah. Even though you go, I don't care what people think. When was the last time you actually spoke what was truly on your mind, or said what was really there? When was the last time you didn't hold yourself back? And I'm not saying that you should go out and just be a dick, right? There's enough of them in the world. Always ask yourself, put it through a filter. Is it honest? Is it true? Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? If it passes those three things, then that's okay. Because we do hesitate before we speak sometimes, because we worry how it's going to be received. We worry what people are going to think. I was talking to a lovely lady today that I met on a networking call, and she said, I hold myself back because I worry what my mum might think. And I was like, yeah, I hear that. My mum passed away a couple of years ago, and whilst that was a horrible situation and all the rest of it, and miss her every day, there's still a sense of me not needing to worry about her asking me what I'm doing anymore, and not needing to dim my light because she didn't understand the things I do. And I think that's just a conditioning we have, our family and friends around us, isn't it? But every time we look outside of ourselves for approval, so every time we wait for permission, every time we look for approval, every time we look for acceptance, every time we put a post out in social media and then wait to see how many likes we get, for the online business owners out there, what engagement do you get? Yeah. Worrying what other people think. We give away a piece of our power. Okay, so I want you to think about this and ask yourself, where are you still waiting for someone to tell you that you're good enough? Have a think about that. And if you want to share it, please feel free to use the chat. Tony, you're waiting for work. Okay. Okay. What would happen if you decided you were already good enough? How would that change things? Possible failure? Really? In whose eyes? In your own eyes? Okay. That's a deeper level of, let's look at that. That's a not believing you are good enough. Okay. Still want you to step in to your I am presence. Yes, Susan, I can repeat it. Yeah. I'm asking you to reflect on, where are you still waiting for someone to tell you that you're good enough? And what would happen when you decide that you already were? Wendy says weight of responsibility. But yeah, this is it. This is it. Joanne says, I never felt good enough. Mum always expected more. Okay. Anne says, I'm waiting on myself to tell me I'm good enough. Okay. So whenever we step into our I am presence, when we step into that source energy, that highest self, right? So let's go deep down a little rabbit hole of quantumness for a moment, right? Indulge me. Those of you who work with me know that I will often go off on one of these tangents, so apologies if you're new to me. um, let's consider this. Let's do a thought experiment. I am not here to change your beliefs as to whatever you believe in. Okay, this is not me telling you what you have to believe, but just consider, if we accept that when we look within and we go past the noise of our internal chatter, and we go past the noise of life and we take a moment to breathe. We step back off the front line of our mind for a little moment. There comes a point when we realize we are observing, that we can observe our thoughts. It's the premise of mindfulness, really, isn't it? Right? So we can observe our thoughts, we can observe things that are coming at us. And if we then question, well, who is this that's doing the observing? Who am I? Who am I actually when I take this moment to pause? Who am I when I think about this? The more we dive in and pick back the layers of who am I? Who am I? And ask that question and meditate on the awareness of the fact that we are consciously aware, and we start to meditate on that consciousness, we then start to realize that actually we are part of that infinite consciousness. We are part of, as I said earlier, source energy, God energy, divinity, universe, great spirit, whatever you wish to call that energy, the creator. That we have that spark. That essentially, in some schools of thought, people will say the universe expressing itself as you. God expressing itself as Tony. Yeah, source energy expressing itself as Emma. And if we accept that that energy is that all-knowing, all-powerful, all-creator, creative energy of God, of universe, of source, well, are you saying that that's not good enough? Because that's who you are. And yes, we're in a human form. We are limited in our human form at this point. We have chosen to incarnate, to experience this earth school, to have an earth walk, to have soul evolution, to grow, to, do the things. Everybody has their own views on why we're here on earth. That's fine. But if we accept that our I am presence is that spark of divinity, then surely we must already be good enough. Bit deep for Wednesday night, Wednesday afternoon for those of you in the States. Let me know what you think. Why are we good enough, Tony? We're good enough because we are essentially the God energy. Okay, we're essentially God expressing itself as this human. So we're essentially the energy of all that is, all that exists. And I'm not talking like sort of limited as in, the concept of God in the sky with a big beard standing going like this. Not that, I'm talking about the essence of all that is, the energy of life force itself, the creation, the consciousness, the very intelligence of the universe. Everything that makes the blade of grass be a blade of grass, that makes you be you. That allows us, at least on one level of awareness. I'm not saying we're perfect, right? Because we're flawed human beings. We're here as human beings. But what I'm saying is, on one level of awareness and consciousness, we surely then must be good enough because we are essentially God expressing itself. It's quite a deep concept because it then calls into question, well, some people's beliefs. People go, I don't believe in God. That's okay then. Energetics then, just the energy, the actual quantum nature of the universe, the intelligence. It's good enough to have made the earth. It's good enough to have made the sun. It's good enough to have made the planets. It's good enough to have made you. It's good enough to have made every part of life. So surely it must make you good enough. Yeah, you're a child of God, and that alone is enough. Hard to connect that and being enough. It's a deep, deep concept, Tony. It's something that we do quite a bit of work on in some of the programs where, it's a very deep level of conversation about recognizing that divinity within yourself, recognizing that, if we accept, it kind of goes down a philosophical route of, if we accept that God is all powerful, so omnipotent, omnipresent, so everywhere at once, all powerful, all intelligent, and infinite, then there can't be anything else, which means it has to be good enough, because there's nothing else. That's the pinnacle, and we are part of that. We are created from that. We are the actual essence of that, and it's more than just being a child of God as such. It's we are essentially that energy condensed into this human form, expressing itself as Tony, expressing itself as Joanne, expressing itself as Carrie, expressing itself as Susan, Wendy, everybody. Anne says, I like the quote by Eckhart Tolle, you are the universe expressing itself as a human for a while. Yeah. And Wendy says, just remember the quote from Bashar, you are enough because you're here. Yeah. Now, that doesn't mean we don't have a bit of work to do. It doesn't mean that we're absolutely perfect and that we're walking around going, yes, well, I am God and therefore I'm perfect and you can all just follow me, minions. That's not what we're talking about, because that gets into that, like, don't be a dick behavior. Yeah. So we're not talking about that. That's like bringing it down into a sort of facetious kind of human level. But when we talk on this very high level consciousness of the fact that potentially we are the universe expressing itself, we are the God energy expressing itself as a human, to see what it's like. It's when we get back into that consciousness of, well, at the very highest level, we're all one. So therefore, we're potentially all fractals of that energy, just expressing itself in different ways, with different levels of awareness as we go through. This is a massive quantum rabbit hole that we could go down and be down for hours and try and keep us on track and get back to where we're at. But it's just I want you to reflect on it, if nothing else, just even to start that thought process. Yeah. Because when we step into that I am presence, we then stop doing this giving away our power, because we remember we are good enough. We remember we don't need to please everybody else. Okay. Thinking of it that way helps me feel more connected, says Emma. Yeah. It's one of these things. It's something we talk about a lot in circle. We'll have these random deep conversations sometimes in circle. So, but pulling us back onto track, because I'm just aware of time and I want to make sure you all get what you came here for tonight. So we give away our power by external validation and people pleasing. We give away our power by fear-based thinking and shrinking, playing small. Sometimes we say things like, oh, if I take up too much space, something bad will happen, or fear will whisper in our ear, well, what if you fail? What if you, what if I make the wrong decision? Maybe it'd just be better if I just, maybe I'd just stay where I am, because better the devil, I used to say that when I worked in the legal office that I worked in for many years before I was made redundant. And there was days I was hugely unhappy, but I was all like, ah, but better the devil, you could go from the frying pan into the fire. Yeah. This resonate with you, Anne, yeah. We shrink, we hold back, we dim our own light so that we avoid this discomfort, this potential for rejection and the potential of risk. Because ultimately, our human bodies, our physicality is hardwired for survival. It's hardwired to notice all the negativity, to keep us safe so that we don't run into a life-threatening situation. Yeah. Problem is now life-threatening situations, it's not like back in our hunter-gatherer days. Yeah. Life-threatening situation just seems to be constant bombardment these days of noise and low-level stress. But fear just sits and anxiety gets ramped up. Thing about it is, when we play small and we listen to that fear-based voice, it doesn't keep us safe, it keeps us stuck. And fear-based decisions, when we make a decision from that space of fear and of limitation, where we're down in the, if you think of the energetic frequencies of fear and shame and guilt and all the heavy emotions, if they're on like if you imagine it like a funnel, the higher vibration and higher frequency emotions are up here: love, joy, peace, enlightenment. And then the heavier frequency emotions energetically are down in the bottom of the funnel. If we're making a decision from within that funnel, we're banging off these sides. We can't see what's happening. So we're keeping ourselves small. As we allow ourselves to rise up into that higher level of consciousness, we can make more empowered decisions, which stop us being trapped in a cycle of limitation, stop us repeating the same patterns. Because you may find yourself repeating the same patterns because you're constantly hitting off the sides of fear, the box you've put yourself in. So when the shift comes, when you stop making choices from this place of fear and you start moving from a place of expansion and self-trust and possibility and curiosity and playfulness. My word of this year is curiosity. I wonder what would happen if. Yeah, I wonder what would happen if I did this. Let's just see. So, where are you making decisions? Have a little think and feel free to share. Where are you making decisions from fear instead of your true desire? And remember, it can be fear of success too, because like, what if it goes really well and then I have to show up and do the thing? Yeah. What if I don't have enough energy then? Or what if I can't? Yeah. Just going to read the Facebook comments here. Susan says, I have inner work to do, I think, relearning to love myself and rebuild my self-confidence. That's a massive thing. And every single one of us has inner work to do. That's why I created the circle. That's what Soul Food Circle is all about. It's the space for us to do that work. It's a space for us to come together in a supportive, non-judgment environment where we can do this work, where we can have these conversations. Yeah. Okay, so that was 2 ways we give away our power: fear-based decisions and people pleasing. Third way, disconnection from our self-trust, disconnection from our intuition. I don't trust myself. Don't trust myself to make the right decision because somewhere along the way we were taught that only people in authority knew the right decision. So we have to check with them first. Yeah. That other experts know better than us. So we override our own instincts. We dismiss our own inner knowing as irrational or not logical enough. Yeah. We second guess ourselves. We overthink. Any overthinkers in the room? Any analysis paralysis people? Carry? Yep. Yeah. Second guess ourselves into that. Yeah. Waiting for a sign, waiting for somebody to tell us. Yeah. Is this resonating, Tony? I see you've been like, oh, waiting for a sign or someone else to tell us what to do. But the thing about it is your intuition, your connection to your highest self, your inner teacher. Yeah. Your inner teacher is the purest source of wisdom that you have. It's the purest source of wisdom that you have. And when you start to lean into that and you start to develop your intuition, yeah. Lisa on Facebook says, absolutely an overthinker waiting for a sign. Susan says, keep freezing on my screen. I'm going to watch the replay. That's okay, my darling Susan. No worries. Sometimes if you push it back and replay, put it back a little bit, it'll just buffers sometimes. I'm just going to have a chat. That third one is still definitely me, says Anne. I still tell myself I don't have intuition and I definitely overthink. And we did a lot of work on that, Anne, through Untamed and Unstoppable. So don't let that slide because you are one of the most intuitive people I know. Wendy says, waiting for others to confirm what my intuition is already telling me. So yeah, but why wait? Just trust. Okay. And now that you're in the circle, Wendy, I think you'll build that confidence as we go. Tony says, didn't realize the authority figure is the one to decide. That's what I was told and never learned that inner wisdom was to be trusted. Yeah. Yeah. It's a biggie. Like sometimes these are things, and you may have heard this stuff before, but it might just land differently. It comes in and just lands sometimes, and you're like, oh wow, ding, ding, ding. There's a moment. Something's going to shift. And that's what we're here for tonight, to shift that and then to do our activation to hold it in place. So when was the last time you ignored your intuition, your gut feeling? Yeah. What would change? Imagine if you trusted yourself implicitly and you didn't need to seek approval from other people. You didn't worry about what other people thought, and you just went, "Do you know what? Actually, I don't need to seek authority or approval, or don't need to check with the experts. I don't need to go and check. I just do because I know." What would that do? Yeah. There's another one here that's massive, and this one might resonate. You let me know as you're thinking about this. Disconnection, or sorry, overconsumption. Overconsumption of external influences. In other words, being the constant student, always doing the next course, always doing the next thing, always needing to learn more, always needing to find out, if I just learn more, then I'll be ready. Yeah. Scrolling endlessly for answers. Yeah. Jumping into going onto Facebook and then going, oh no, that's a nightmare. I'll go onto LinkedIn instead. We'll try LinkedIn. No, no, I'm not getting that either. I'll go onto Google. I'll ask ChatGPT and it'll tell me. And we're constantly looking outside of ourselves. Yeah. See some smiles when people, is this resonating? Yeah. Quintessential student, the eternal student. Anne says, I feel called out. Joanne says, I was always told mom knows best, but I need to make my own mistakes. Absolutely. When do you feel called out too? Where can I learn about that? Yeah. Where can I learn about that? Tell me more about that. How can I find out more? Okay. It comes back to not trusting ourselves that we already know. Yeah. And don't get me wrong. There are times we do need to learn stuff and we need to figure it out, right? But we keep jumping from book to book, from course to course, looking for the missing piece, looking for the holy grail, this like elusive, ah, there it is. It's already inside you. It's not outside. Okay, promise. I promise. Because what happens? We consume so much information that we never actually then take any action on it because we get really overwhelmed. Yeah, we get really overwhelmed. We join all the courses, we do all the things, we're like in all the spaces, and we're like, yes, give me all the information. And your brain just goes, and then you're like, I don't even know how to put any of this into place. And you try, and then it doesn't work. And you're like, oh my God. Yeah. It's one of the most sneaky ways that we abandon our power. It's really sneaky because we think we're being really productive and we're being really responsible and we're doing the thing. Yeah. But we're just distracting ourselves from the work that really needs done. So ask yourself, I want honesty. Who's consuming more than they're creating? Where are you using learning? Just another course, just another certificate. Then I'll feel ready. Just another thing. You feel less carry, yeah. Yeah. It's massive. Yeah, everybody's feeling called out. You are welcome. That's what I'm here for. I am here to shine the big light of awareness. Because with awareness comes responsibility. Emma says, when my mum got a feeling about something, it was always about something bad, so it was going to happen. So you stopped listening. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, yeah. That intuition only warns you about bad stuff that's going to happen. Yeah. Mm. Fear 101. Yeah. Had a dream. Don't get on that plane. Best not do that. Don't go that way. Someone's oh, smell flowers. Somebody's going to die. Yeah. I remember my mummy was a wee bit like that too. Must have been a generational thing. It's like, right. The fifth way we give away our power is the illusion of I'll be ready when. I just need a little bit more time. I just need a little bit more experience. I just need a little bit more confidence. I'll take action when I'm more prepared. I need to build my confidence first. Here's the kicker on that though. Confidence comes from taking action, doesn't come from not. You get the confidence by doing the thing and realizing that the sky didn't fall in. And then doing it again and realizing that, oh, didn't fall in again this time. And you know what? Even if it did, that's okay. I'll invest in myself when timing's better because I have too many other things going on. I wouldn't be able to give it my best. Yeah. I'll go for it when I feel ready. Yeah. Yes, number 4 is overconsumption. And number 5 is the illusion I'll be ready when. I'll be ready when. Insert excuse here. Yeah. Because there's no ready, there is no perfect moment. Yeah, there's no external permission slip. There's no guarantee that fear will go away. We've had a couple of really good confidence coaches come into the circle that deliver powerful sessions, and one of them was telling us about how you actually only have to hold the energy of fear for like 12 seconds, and then it dissipates. So you only have to hold that uncomfortable, oh, it's really scary, and then it dissipates, and you just got to breathe through it. And something that I remember reading and it stuck with me for a long time. I can't even remember where I saw it, but it's so true. Fear and excitement light up the same parts of your brain. So fear is just excitement without the breath. So when you're feeling that little moment of fear, breathe and hold it for about 12 seconds and see if it moves. Yeah. Wendy says that was me with going beyond the veil accreditation. I kept putting it off, did far too many case studies. You did an extra 40. Dear God, Wendy. No need. I want to ask you a question. If you stopped waiting and stopped giving your power away and all these different things, what would you do? What would you be doing now? What would you do right now if you weren't waiting for permission, if you weren't waiting for validation, if you weren't over consuming? What would you do? Because every time you choose yourself over external validation, over fear, over doubt, you take your power back. Every time you trust your voice, your intuition, your instincts, you reclaim your sovereignty. So it's been interesting in the chat listening to see which one of those hits you the hardest. So Facebook viewers and replay viewers, please let me know which ones resonate with you. Joanne, you would be doing cards and Reiki and teaching, yeah. So do it. Make it happen. And you would take action and not second guess yourself. Good. Do it. Just going to talk 5 more minutes about just the energetics, and then I want to take us into our activation because, yeah. Wendy says I'll be in a totally different frequency for starters, creating my own modality. Do it. Yeah, but Joanne, you maybe only need to do more courses to teach Reiki, for example, but you can still be practicing, you can still be reading cards, you could still come to circle and practice your card reading skills. There's lots of different things you can still do. So I'm not going to let you have that excuse. Okay. Carrie, you'd finish your book. Let's get it finished. Let's get it written. Let's make a commitment and an intention to do that. Yeah. So there's nobody holding you back except yourself. Because we can rewrite your reality here. Yeah. You can rewrite your reality. Because the moment you understand and embody this, you realize that your outer reality is just a mirror. It's a mirror of what's going on in here. It's a mirror of what's going on inside your heart space and inside your mind. So if you're full of fear and expecting to see the worst in everybody and having a tough time trusting everybody, then guess what? That's just what's going to come bouncing straight back at you. Yeah. If you're expecting it to be hard, if you're expecting it to be an uphill struggle, then yeah. It's like looking in a mirror and frowning into the mirror and expecting it to smile back at you. It's not going to happen. And if it does, that's some whole level of weird horror movie. Yeah. Your beliefs create your frequency. Your frequency creates your experience. Energetics 101. What you believe to be true about yourself, the world, and your potential will directly shape the world around you. So every thought that you choose to follow, okay? Because thoughts will pop in and out. We don't have to go with them, okay? So every thought that you choose to hang on to, every emotion, every energetic state that you cling on to is a signal that you broadcast like a beacon. So if you're full of fear, guess what's happening? You're beaming out the frequency of fear, and that's not what we want, right? So this is why we're doing this work. We're wanting to do this work to reclaim our sovereignty, to reclaim our love, our compassion, to be beaming that out. Imagine if we all beamed that out into the world. Imagine if every single person did this work. The kind of different world. But it starts with us. It's about energetic authority, not passive law of attraction. You know, I'll just believe it and then it will come my way, because then otherwise every 4-year-old would be Batman. Right? Most of our lives, we operate from victim consciousness. We think life happens to us. Why does this always happen to me? That's not fair. I'd never be able to have that. If only I had more time, money, confidence, resources, then I could. Yeah. Victim consciousness. Life happens to us. Keeps you in a state of reacting to life rather than creating it, rather than co-creating with the energetics, rather than working into it. When you step into that sovereign creator universe, and instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Think, what am I cultivating right now? What am I choosing to create with this energetic frequency right now? Instead of, I've no control over this, go, well, hold on a minute. I may not have actual control over the external events, but I have control over me and how I respond to them. And instead of going, oh, I really hope it gets better, go, well, actually, I get to decide it's going to get better because I'm going to make better choices. Because now I know better, I'm going to do better. With awareness comes responsibility. We step into by me consciousness then where I will do the work. And we don't want to stay there forever, because if we stay there where we're taking all the responsibility and doing all the things, it can quickly become very overwhelming and very heavy because we don't let ourselves ask for help. But we need this first shift from life happens to me to life happens because of me. I change by me. I do the work. We need that first step. And from there, then we can raise up in consciousness again. We can step up into this happens through me. Life happens through me. And we step into flow. And then that beautiful flow state is a gorgeous place to be. That's where we can co-create our reality. That's what the work that we try and do in circle, that we bring that energetics in and that awareness to co-create. And then from there, we can go down those rabbit holes and we can have our consciousness of, oh, life is happening as me. I am the God consciousness that we so stepped into earlier on, completely accidentally. The moment you decide to shift, your reality will follow. The moment you decide, energy will move. The moment you step into your power, the universe will respond. Okay? You directly impact the world just by moving through it. Choose consciously how you're moving through it. Choose consciously what reality you're cultivating. For example, a person who embodies confidence doesn't just sit around waiting for things to come their way. They actually go out and make them happen. So it's not about passivity, not sitting here, because I am not one of those white dress, floaty, spiritual, love, light, and fluffy bunny people. Okay, it's not my vibe. Person who owns their worth doesn't wait for external validation. They carry themselves with certainty and assuredness. Yeah. And they get that reflected back. Person who chooses sovereignty doesn't ask for permission. They decide and they declare and they take up space because they know they belong. And that's why people who do that around you sometimes can trigger the shit clean out of you, because you're like, how come they do it and I can't? And it can sometimes get uncomfortable, and that's a mirror being held up. Okay. Your reality isn't shaped by what you want, it's shaped by who you are. So, how are you going to show up in the world? Who do you want to be? Okay. And this is sometimes where people get stuck, right? Because you're not just thinking differently, you're becoming the person who moves through life as a sovereign being. You're taking back your power. So you understand maybe the theory and you get the concepts, but yet you keep slipping back into your old identity. You say you want expansion, but you keep playing small. You say you want confidence, but you still hesitate. You still look outside yourself for permission, even though you say that you're not. Yeah. Because the quantum field doesn't respond to what you say you want, it responds to your frequency. Okay. Let me ask you one more reflection before we step into our activation. If you were already beaming out the frequency of fully standing in your power, what is one thing you would no longer tolerate in your life? What was one thing that you would shift and change? And you can share it if you want, or you can keep it to yourself and just make the decision that, okay, I'm going to claim this now and I'm going to change it now. Okay, John? You make the decision on that. You know what's right for you. Okay. Because the only thing standing between where you are now and the sovereign version of you is you. So why don't we make a decision right now to be that person? Because here's the thing, and I had this conversation with a client yesterday. I was like, it's really not that difficult. We just make the decision and then we do it. We make the decision and we actually follow through with the decision. People sometimes say to me, how can I let stuff go? And I'm like, you simply let it go. Same as you set down a heavy shopping bag, you let it set it down. You just do it. I think we overcomplicate things. No more playing small, Emma. Ditching self criticism, embrace self trust, compassion, and love. Not looking for others to support me, but just make it happen. Yes. I love, 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 love. Love it. Okay. Under our activation. Because we've had some thoughts. Let me know if you have any questions before we do this. Is there anything you want me to answer? Please make sure you have a little drink of water as well, because I'm going to take us through a little. The activation process is going to release old stuff. We're going to step into that I am presence, and we're going to set some really powerful intentions. So this is not just a guided meditation as such. This is you actually making a declaration and an energetic intention, and we're going to activate that. Okay. Wendy says just a step forward. Awesome. Can't wait to see you stepping forward. And now that you're in the circle, Wendy, I'd be able to watch and I'd be able to go, Wendy, you said you're going to step forward. Wendy's like, oh shit, what did I join that circle for? Is everybody okay? Drop me a little thumbs up if you're okay. Give me a thumbs up if you're good. We all right? We ready to move into our activation? Good job. Good job. If you're watching on Facebook and you're catching this on the replay, make sure that you take a moment now just to get a little drink of water, and then we're going to go into our activation. Okay. So I'm going to invite you to make yourself comfortable. Okay. And if you are watching this on Facebook and you are not in a space where you can close your eyes safely, then please wait and do this later. But for everyone else who is ready, if it's safe for you to do so, I invite you just to begin to find a comfortable position. I want you just to notice how your body feels. You might maybe want to have a bit of a stretch and just maybe shake a few bits off, just maybe roll those shoulders, shake off your hands, shake off your shoulders, And then just as you allow your body just to settle into a comfortable space, if you haven't already done so, I invite you just to close your eyes. And in your own time and in your own space, just taking a deep breath in, and at the top of the breath, just hold it for a few moments. And then just let it go, perhaps sighing it out, breathing out for a little bit longer than what you breathed in. And just maybe doing a couple more breaths like that, perhaps breathing in for 3, holding for 3, and breathing out for 6. And just as you breathe in your own way, there's no right or wrong ways. It's just your breath. You've been doing it since you were born. Okay, just breathe. Just begin to feel the solidity and the weight of your body on the surface that you're sitting on or lying on. Notice the support beneath you, the steadiness beneath you. Know that in this moment you are safe. You are held. You are exactly where you're meant to be. With every inhale, feel yourself drawing in clarity, your power, your presence. And with every exhale, feel the tension, the noise, and the distractions of the day dissolving away. Just give yourself permission to arrive home inside yourself. It's beginning to step into that I am awareness and presence, that calm, quiet space beneath all the noise of the outside world. We are about to step into a space of deep transformation, a space where old limitation no longer exist. A space where you are free to remember who you have always been, who you truly are. And if it feels right, or you want to place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly, just feel your breath move through you. Notice your body as it moves. Feel the life force that exists within you. This is your energy. This is your power. And tonight we are reclaiming it. I'm just going to give you a moment to set your own personal intention. Maybe think about what you're ready to release, what you're ready to step into. So just take a moment as you breathe to set that intention now. And from this space, I invite you, in whichever way you know how, to imagine a soft golden light surrounding you, wrapping around you like a warm, protective cocoon. This is your sacred space. Only truth, only expansion, only your highest self exists here. And from this safe and sacred space, we begin. As we move into this work, I invite you, whilst feeling safely held and secure, to call to mind every moment, either conscious or unconscious, when you abandoned yourself. Every time you shrank, every time you held back, every time you silenced your truth. Maybe it was in childhood when you learned that being too much, too loud, too bold wasn't safe. Maybe it was in relationships when you chose harmony over your own voice and your own needs. Maybe it was in moments when you doubted yourself or second guessed your worth or waited for permission that never came. I want you to imagine, feel, sense, know, in whatever way you can, a golden thread collecting you to all these moments, connecting you to every time you said yes when your soul screamed no, every time you hesitated, every time you gave your power away. Allow the golden threads to connect to all of them and gather them all up. And just feel and know and trust that the intention to do this means it has been done. As now we imagine and see those threads dissolving one by one, breaking, releasing these old agreements, these outdated contracts no longer serve you. And they were never yours to truly carry. And I invite you, if it's suitable for you and you can say this out loud, it carries power to do so. But if not, you can say it in your mind. To repeat after me, I release all contracts that kept me small. I revoke all agreements that made me doubt my power. I take back every part of me that I suppressed or abandoned. I let go of all the old and I call back all my power. It is done. And just breathe and feel into that energy as your power comes back to you, as you let go of these old contracts, as we clear your energy field. Just breathe into that. Notice the liberation. Notice the weight that has dropped from you, as you don't have to carry all that. Notice how your energy begins to come back. With every breath, you're stepping deeper into the truth of who you are. The you that exists beyond doubt, beyond conditioning, beyond limitation. The you that has known that she has always been powerful. And I invite you to say these words out loud or in your heart. Feel them as your truth. I am powerful. I am the author of my life. I am unapologetic in my truth. I am here to take up space. I am sovereign of my mind and body. And I am full of love. And where love exists, fear cannot persist. Let these words anchor into your body. Let them settle into your cells. This is not just something you're saying. This is something you are becoming. And if you haven't already got your hand on your heart, I invite you to place your hand on your heart and say, I am here. I am ready. I am free. I am free. I am free. Just feel that in your body. Feel the truth of that statement locking into place. Mm. Right now, you have cut the old ties, activated your power, and stood in your presence. The shift doesn't just happen in this moment. It now happens in the way you move forward every day. So let's just have a moment to imagine. In whatever way you know how, imagine yourself. Imagine yourself a year from now, fully in your power, unapologetic, moving through your life with confidence and certainty and presence. See how you walk, how you speak. Notice how you make decisions. And that future version of yourself has a message for you right now. So I'm just going to give you a moment to listen. What does this future version of you want you to know? She's waiting for you to embody her energy. So let her tell you how. And just feel, sense, and know that this future version of you is already in existence. You can step into her energy. Just declare to yourself, I reclaim my power, and so it is. And from this space, I invite you to take another deep breath in and then to slowly exhale, breathing all the way out, emptying your lungs. Just as you breathe and your awareness comes back into your breath, you bring your awareness gently back into your body. You might feel that you need to move your body, maybe rock and sway, perhaps rolling your shoulders, noticing the surface beneath you. As you begin to breathe and as you begin to move your body, you realize you're not waiting anymore. You're not seeking. You have already reclaimed your power. It is yours. And as you come back fully into this moment with each breath, you're beginning to feel more alive, more alert, more awake, knowing that nothing has been left behind. You have reclaimed your power. You have cut your old contacts. And you're ready to step into the unapologetic version of you. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. From this moment forward, your life is your own. Welcome back. So if you need a minute to write anything down, if you want to just take a moment to come back into the space, have a little bit of water. So there, you need to do that. If you want to share anything, feel free to do so in the chat. We all okay? I'm going to give you the opportunity. If you want, you are more than welcome. Those of you on Zoom, if you want to unmute, you can unmute and share if you wish. But just before we do that, just give you a few minutes just to write things down. I just want to invite you to remember that you felt this shift tonight. You've done this work. It doesn't have to stop. Okay? It doesn't have to end here. It's not something that you need to do on your own. Okay? Sometimes when we try to do this work on our own, we think we can figure it out ourselves. We just end up spiraling into circles, getting ourselves stuck and going back. I'm not going to sit and do a hard sell. That's not my vibe. Soul Food Circle is open. If you want in, you're more than welcome to come in. Okay? The link is in the chat. I'm going to pop it in here for you in the Zoom, folks, for those of you who need it. If you want to find out more about it, you can find out here. Okay? But the circle is there. I'm not sure if that link's going to work in here, but I'll share it in the Telegram group. I just want you to remember that this work is better done in a community. There is power in this tonight as we all sat together. Much easier doing this together than doing it alone. So if you want to chat about it, my inbox is open. Telegram group is there for you ladies who have signed up to the Telegram group. I will be in there all week, for the rest of the week. So ask questions as you want to. Carrie, your voice says you got this. I love that. Oh, thank you, Emma. Tony says, I've suppressed and minimized myself for so long that I question who am I really? Yeah, and this is the best thing. No second guessing the message, could feel the love radiating from her. This is the thing, Tony. This the suppression is one of the things that we do, as we work, and it may not necessarily be directly. Sometimes people think, oh, I don't want to join another space and have something else to do, and it's a thing that I have to do. It's not a place where you have to do stuff. It's a place where you can come and explore these concepts and ask the question. And it might be that you just simply go, I have no idea who I am. And we go, that's okay. We'll figure it out. Yeah. And you just get held in that space. And that's what it's for. Anne says, I feel a lot lighter after that. The message from my future self was trust yourself. You don't need to have it all figured out or have all the answers. Trust and believe that you have the answers you seek within you. You're safe to be you. You're safe to speak your truth and you're safe to be heard. That's a powerful message, Anne. Put that somewhere where you will see it every single day. Yeah. Put that where you will see it every day. So I'm going to give you guys a chance to make a decision before I'm not gonna force you to speak if you don't want to, but we are still streaming live on Facebook. If you want, we can have a little chat for the last 10 minutes. If you want to do that. So you can give me a yes or no. If you don't want to do it, that's absolutely fine. You can drop off the call, off the Zoom call now. If you want to have a chat, then we can stay on and I will let us all be seen and heard. So let me know how you feel about that. Don't want anybody to be on if they don't want to be on. You can turn your camera off too if you don't want to be on. But let me know how you feel. Give me a yes or no in the chat space. For those watching on Facebook, folks, if you've questions, if you're watching live and you're still with us live, let me know how you're feeling. If you are catching the replay, please let me know anything that came up for you during the activation, during the meditation section. Let me know how life is. I will check the comments over the next day or two and just be mopping up anybody that comes in. So if you're a replay viewer, you haven't missed out. I'm still around. Doors are open for Soul Food Circle until 9 o'clock on Sunday night, at which point I will be closing them for the foreseeable. Just simply so that I can focus on the people who are inside rather than keeping it open. So no worries, Emma, you're going to disappear. You've enjoyed this evening. You're so welcome. Wendy, you're happy to chat. Good job. I will do that. Tony, back to work. It's only 4 o'clock here. Back to work for you. No problem, my love. You know where I am if you need me. And you're going to drop off. That's grand. That's grand. No problem at all. What I will do then is I'll just drop off the chat space then. If everybody needs to go, there's no problem at all. What I will say is thank you so much. If there's anything in particular that you want to ask, Wendy, did you have a specific question or anything that you wanted? Feel free to unmute yourself. I'm just going to remove the pin here so that you can be seen.
I don't know so much a question. It was just more the realizations that kind of drop in, I think, really. Because it's been a big learning curve, I think. Even like with the tarot the other day, it's just I'm so fucking hard on myself.
Yeah.
I really am. And I don't know why I still feel the need to do that.
And that's okay. The awareness is the start of healing this, Wendy, okay? We don't have to have all the answers straight away.
Yeah.
Okay, so sometimes just having the awareness, we're like, okay, I notice that I'm being really hard on myself. I just notice I'm going to be I'm being hard on myself. When you notice it, take a moment and breathe. Okay, take a moment and breathe and imagine, it's up to you. People do this in different ways. So, some of my clients like to, they would be quite hard on themselves. And I would say to them, would you be that hard on your, on your best friend? Would you be that hard on your kid? Would you be that hard on your fur baby? Would you, these different things.
And this is the thing, and I know that this is like where my imbalance is because, like with my clients, I'm always so supportive, encouraging it, and it's all about empowering them to find their light within. But then I don't do the same for myself. It's like I have a different standard for me.
Okay. We can work on that in the circle, Wendy, okay?
Yeah.
We'll definitely work on that. That can be something that we prioritize as being let's work on that, because particularly if you're going to be holding that space and doing this work for other people, you need to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what invariably happens is there becomes a disconnect.
Yeah.
And there comes a moment of this not being, the imposter syndrome creeps in.
Mm.
Yeah, because we're being and doing all these things with our clients, and then we're beating ourselves up and we're not showing ourselves the same compassion. We're not showing ourselves the same love. We're not showing ourselves the same care. And we need to flip that on its head so that we're starting with us
Yeah.
and then giving it out to the others.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll work on that. We'll work on that in the circle.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you. But
I'm just
it's
going to answer
amazing.
Susan's question here. Susan's asked, I feel like I have cut cords from someone in the past, but if they're still connected to you, can you cut those cords? You can, absolutely. You can, you're sovereign. Nothing can be attached to you or put on you unless you allow it. And the work that we've done tonight is for you to call back that power. So you can very much. And there's lots of different techniques, Susan. That was just one tonight. I know, Susan, you also did the Untamed and Unstoppable work, so you can also go back and revisit the cord cutting exercise from there in that group. But you can also you can call in Archangel Michael to help cut cords. You can do shamanic work where you can journey to a safe space in lower world and have your guides come in and facilitate the cord cutting, and you can give power back to the other person and take power back from them. There's lots and lots of different ways, but yes, short answer, Susan, is yes, you can cut the cords even if you're doing it at your side, because at the end of the day, you cut them. But what we want to do is we want to remove them, not just cut them, because cutting them makes them thick, a little bit like cutting weeds. Better to pull it out from the root. Okay, so something else that we can work on in circle, something else that can be done. But yes, the resources, Susan, that you have already from Untamed and Unstoppable the week before last will help with that too. But ping me a DM if you need any more help. Alrighty. Well, I promised this was going to be 90 minutes, so I'm going to try and be really well behaved, because it's not like me. It was nice to see everybody on the call tonight. I know the others wanted to drop off there before we went on to everybody's face. So a couple of our folks from the States had to get back to work. So it's been nice to see you. I will see you in circle, Wendy. You're just a brand new member. Anything you'd like to say to anybody that's sitting on the fence?
Just jump in. It's one of those that we always wonder about what we're gonna, find in there, whether or not we're going to click with anybody. I mean, we just did the tarot cards, and to me, tarot's like learning another language, and it was quite funny because Debbie said came out with this thing of just imagine it's like interpretive dance. Now, I used to dance as a kid, and it was my passion, and then all of a sudden it's like a light bulb went off for me, and it just kind of flowed, and everybody's so nice. And I'm always a bit cautious, shall we say, of going into spaces with there's obviously sister wounds and whatnot, but honestly I would recommend it. Just do it, and you'll be welcome with open arms. Everybody is just so lovely, and there's so many resources on there as well, and you can ask questions. There's lots of different like chats in there. There's a book club thing, there's a confessional, which is quite funny as well, for like
I think the confessional is probably the busiest space where we all go, because
probably.
we keep saying what everybody, we're like, that's a nice set of cards, where'd you get those?
Absolutely. But yeah, just if you're thinking about it, there's a part of you that's already kind of waiting to be in there, and it's an amazing space. I'm still obviously very brand new, so just trying to find my feet.
I know, bless you, you've only been in about a week, 10 days.
Something like that, yeah. So, but honestly, they're just amazing people in there, and you will have an amazing time and just connect with so many people. And it's great to be able to, just jump in, and nobody's telling you doing it wrong, when so many places will shut you down, but this isn't, which for me is amazing. So
I appreciate you so much for saying that. It's so kind. Thank you so much, Wendy, for being here tonight, and for joining me. It's been a pleasure talking to you and to everybody else tonight on the call. So I'm just going to wrap things up for the live. I'm just going to pin myself back to the top here so that the folks on Facebook, see that. But thank you everybody for your time tonight. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Wendy, for your kind words about the circle. Any of you need any help, anybody watching replays that are going, right, I have questions. If you have registered for the event, you will be in the Telegram group. Come into the Telegram group and chat away. Ask questions in there. I will be dropping in some integration activities tomorrow and on Friday. And I may possibly, if there's enough questions come in and there's more questions and people need help, then I might possibly do a little Q&A session on Sunday if there's enough demand for it. Okay, so don't be afraid to ask the questions, don't be afraid to comment, use this space if you're catching the replay, because I know quite a few of you were not able to join us live tonight. I'm here all week. Okay, doors closed for Soul Food Circle at 9 o'clock on Sunday night, and they will be closed then for the foreseeable, probably till well later in the year. So please don't give up this opportunity to come and get support while doing this work, because it's too important to try and fluff it and do it by yourself. So please come and join us. But with that, thank you so much for taking your power back tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening, the rest of your afternoon, the rest of your day, wherever you may be, and I will see you all very soon. Thank you so much. Good night.